welcome to the divine platform. All I do here is for the edification of the Most High and for the restoration of His kingdom. And yes, I can do that according to Philippians 4:13 and Psalm 19:14. Okay, as you can see from the thumbnail, I will be talking about Florida based on a dream and vision I received recently. Satan needs to be evicted from the land of Florida, really from Earth as a whole. But I will talk about the Alligator Alcatraz and the 3iAtlas. I will connect the dots and tie it all together so we can have an idea of what is going on according to what has been revealed to me. This is my perspective in trying to connect all those dots and kind of know that I'm doing the right thing, because just before I did this video, somebody else on YouTube talked about Florida in a similar sense, and so that's good because you know that the witness, a second witness, usually is a confirmation. Okay, I will do this video in this specific format so that I can stay on track, and I tend to get to be all over the place, and I don't like it because it takes too long to finish the video. So first I will talk about the dream and vision, and then next I will talk about the Alligator Alcatraz, the 3iAtlas. I will connect the dots. I will show some remedy or what we can do, and then I will finally publish a notice for the eviction of Satan. Okay, so I first received the unction to do this video with the specific instructions. Our wording was eviction of Satan from earth. Okay, that means that when he is evicted from earth, he's evicted from our personal lives. This unction or this urging or instruction came soon after the Pope opened those doors to hell in December 2024. So we all know that this action of opening the doors was very consequential and a big marker of the times we are in, because this is when these end-time demons and other entities were released. Okay, not only that, but other small-time pesky demons were also released and are emboldened to possess and torment people. That's why there's so much craziness going on around the world, but especially in America right now. Okay, so I hesitated to post the eviction of Satan notice video, and because I received that unction in I think I want to say March. But anyway, it worked out well because now I have received more information that all ties in, and it will make sense. So it won't just be a video with a notice to evict Satan. It has provenance to it, if you will. Many of the revelations I present here were through visions, dreams, quick dreams, visions. Just a knowing, like I've told you, some things I just came in knowing already, and then finally connecting all the dots. So let me get to the first vision here. Okay, before I go to it, I lived in Florida for a long time. I've talked about that before, and it was most of my life has been lived in Florida, and so I still have nostalgic feelings about Florida, you know. And I was wondering whether I should just go back to Florida. But I was disabused of that notion when on September 6th, I had a vision of Florida. In this vision, I was observing it from above, and it looked dark. This is a darkness I have only seen in Africa, you know, because the lighting in Africa is different due to its geocosmic location. But anyway, at night, it is dark, but somehow there's light. And it's usually a bluish, dark bluish light. At least that's where I grew up too. And it is, this light to me would get me to have a scary feeling, because it's not supposed to be that clear at such a dark hour of the night. And whenever I had to go out to the outhouse at my grandparents' house, I would be scared. And this light, this kind of lighting, this ambience was only visible in the country where there's no city lights, so only the stars and the moon would light the night, so to speak. Anyway, so I'm looking down on Florida, and all in this kind of lighting I've just described, and all I can see are piles, like mounds of rubble, and it's gray bluish. It is eviscerated. The place is gutted. It's destroyed, buildings and all. There's just piles of rubble all over the place, and it's with this color. This devastation, this evisceration of Florida starts from the southern part. I didn't see the Florida Keys, but I just saw like from the southern part, the whole peninsula, all the way to the Alligator Alley, and then beyond onto Sarasota, Fort Myers area, and a little above onto the Bay Area, the Tampa Bay area. Okay, that was just that vision. It seems like a nuclear destruction, if I was to describe it. Okay, and then that dream vision just ended like that. It was very brief. Okay, and then soon after, I had another revelation, which was also a dream vision. The dream visions are very brief, but there's a lot of information. And I've had other dreams about Florida that I'll talk about maybe in another video. Anyway, in this vision or dream, my sister and I are flying over Florida in some sort of craft that looks like an airboat, but it's more modern. The craft is flying low, and this craft is not completely covered, so we have a 360 vision, if you will. All I can see in this area of Florida is flood. It's completely flooded. It's a devastation. All the houses are submerged underwater. And I can only see a few roofs. I can't even see the cars. I can just see roofs and treetops. This is clear to me. It's in the Panhandle area, because this craft is in the Panhandle area of Florida. I think from Florida you go to, is it Mississippi? So we are kind of heading west as we are viewing this. And it's clear that the Panhandle is most affected, but it goes all the way down to the west coast of Florida, which is the Gulf Coast, which is the Gulf that number 47 renamed the Gulf of America. Okay, now these two dreams and visions happened within days of each other. And after this, I've been seeking God about whether I should move back to Florida or not. And he gives me this vision, so I'm clearly not moving back to Florida. Okay. So that's all I have for the dreams and visions. Okay, next I will talk about the defilement of the land, and I will focus on the Alligator Alcatraz, the prison that was set up by Trump to house the illegal immigrants. Who are these illegal immigrants? Who really are these illegal immigrants? See, in the dream, the part of the land that was destroyed was where that structure is right now. So let's look a little bit about that Alligator Alcatraz. Quick summary: it is a US detention center for undocumented migrants built in the Florida Everglades near a remote airfield. The name comes from its location in an area teeming with alligators, which officials suggested would act as a deterrent to escape. The alligators would act as a deterrent to escape. The facility is highly controversial, with supporters calling it a necessary tool for immigration enforcement and critics denouncing it as an inhumane and environmental disaster. It was built rapidly using tents and sleeping pods with infrastructure like high-intensity lighting and generators. So I'm asking us, what was the emergency? These immigrants have always been in this land. What was the emergency that they had to assemble this thing in 8 days? It was opened on January 1st, and it is built again at an old runway. That's going to be important as we go through this. Okay, it's located in Ochope, Florida at an airstrip. So Ocho already means 8. Okay, this runway, the Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport, where this Alligator Alcatraz is located, features an 11,000-foot runway. This long runway allows large planes to land for processing at the facility. Okay. So now I'm asking you, do you still think this was an emergency construction? And if so, what is the emergency? Please let me know in the comments section before you watch the rest of the video if you think it was an emergency construction, and if so, what emergency. I want you to do that before you watch the rest so that you're not influenced by what I'm going to say here. So that your comments are not influenced by what I'm going to say here. Okay, let's go on. This runway is the largest air terminal in the world. So the airstrip next to the Alligator Alcatraz is the largest air terminal in the world. There are 4 larger airports in the world, but the longest runway is the one next to the Alligator Alcatraz. Now I'm asking you, why? For what? I mean, if you still don't see that this was planned for a long time, I just don't know what to say, really. The airstrip was built in 1968, and when you go search on Google, they have stories, they always have stories, on Google, Wikipedia, what happened. But it was built in 1968, and it's clear to me that this was long planned by the Satanists. This Alligator Alcatraz is in a very remote location. It's located in the wetlands, the Everglades of Florida, in the Cypress National Park. If this was a true emergency of the kind that they want us to believe, why would they not use already existing empty buildings? See, the government and economy has contracted. It has shrunk so much that there's tons of empty buildings laying around. I mean, they're firing people right, left, and center with the Dodge Initiative. And additionally, some buildings have never recovered since the 19 jab. You know what I mean? The real estate market has shrunk so much, meaning there's so many facilities that would house these immigrants, even the military centers, And these are immigrants who've been living amongst us. So one needs to ask, why would they build such a remote, in such a remote, inaccessible location? And I have been along that Alligator Alley. It is extremely remote. I remember driving from the west coast to the east coast and thinking, God, let me not break down here, because there's barely any traffic. And if that one person who came to save you when you broke down decided to kidnap you, you would never be found. So the area is extremely remote. Why? Okay, this is what it looks like inside. It looks like a cage, clearly looks like a cage to me. Okay, save that image in your head. We'll tie it all together later. Okay, now I'm going to talk about 3iAtlas in a similar way, just a summary like I've talked about the Alligator Alcatraz. So this comet was first identified on July 1st, 2025, the same day that the Alcatraz was opened. So we already see a July 1st theme here. And I bet if you did a search for July 1st, there would be a lot of related phenomenon that happened on that day. Okay, so this 3iAtlas has three names. Why? Confusion, right? And here they say it was not discovered earlier because it was passing in front of the galactic center's dense star fields. This center is the Barry Center, and I just bring that up because that Barry is an allusion to number 44, and I just did a video about him. So we are starting to see this, what's going on. Okay, let's see what else about this 3iAtlas. The Trump administration begins mass firing of air traffic control staff. Is it possible that this was done so as to obscure people from seeing this craft, the 3iAtlas? Was this firing only in strategic airports of strategic people, you know? So that, honestly, I think other crafts have been coming through, and there's a reason they're firing this air traffic controllers. Okay, I don't think the 3iAtlas is just any remote interstellar object, but it's a craft that they are aware of. They knew it would come, they just didn't know the time. Okay, and I think this was part of the firing of the air traffic control staff, because they want to kind of hide the evidence and keep people stupid, you know. What do you think? Why do you think he fired those air traffic controllers? Anyway, let's keep on going. So the 3iAtlas is an active comet with a solid icy nucleus and a surrounding coma of gas and dust. Its nucleus size is estimated to be between 0.32 and 5.6 kilometers, with the most likely size being under 1 kilometer. Okay, so they have guesstimated the size. It's clearly a huge craft. It's a huge vessel, but it is still within the range of the largest plane ever built, the Antonov, which is a cargo plane, and this had a wingspan of 88.4 meters. So if the size of this craft is under 1 kilometer, then it's still within the range of the largest vessel ever built. And then also, when we look at the words used to describe it, like icy, you know, that connects to the ice raids and maybe the type of entities that are in this vessel. Okay, so look at the image on the screen. So in doing this video, I searched for 3iAtlas, and this was the first image that came to my screen, this reptilian looking image. So to me, clearly, this already tells me that the 3iAtlas is a reptilian vessel. And when I hear people saying that this vessel is their ancestors coming back, I'm like, are your ancestors the reptilians? If they are, then you're correct. Okay. We also have people who are so happy the Anunnaki are coming back. So maybe it's the Anunnaki who are in these vessels. I don't know. The Anunnaki are insectilians or insectoids. That's their clade, if you will. So there is so much confusion about this craft, and that alone should tell us that it's not of God, because our God is not a God of confusion. Yeah, anyway, so they publish these images, this specific image, because they always must publish the truth in the midst of all their lies. Okay, and if what they published, this confusion they published, remains unchallenged and unrebutted, it becomes accepted as truth and is eventually successfully implemented. Okay, because it means that we have acquiesced with what they're publishing. Okay, so now I'm going to connect the dots here. Let's see. The 3iAtlas is a reptilian vessel that was destined for Earth, and it was slated to land in Florida. It is, or was carrying, I think it is carrying reptilian entities, and the Alligator Alcatraz was designed for them. And that is why they look, the interior of this Alligator Alcatraz looks like reptilian cages, and they have high intensity lighting and generators, because these reptilians need assistance to control their body temperature once they are out of their environment, their ectotherms. This is a reptilian cage, and the interior design is exactly the same as the reptile cages that people buy in pet shops. I don't know who would want to have a reptilian for a pet, but this is Alcatraz. This is a cage that one would buy at a store. Okay, now the runway at the Alligator Alcatraz is the type of runway that is designed for a craft that is both large and moving at a very high speed. I want to say supersonic speed. Such a craft would need a long runway to sufficiently maneuver and stop. So what I'm saying is that all this was planned, and we must thank God for revealing the truth and disabusing us from all the lies and deception that is going around. Okay, is it possible that the people being kidnapped and disappeared are bait and food for these reptiles? I mean, it's not unprecedented. You can pause and read what I have on your screen here. They were using black children as alligator bait in the American South. We have tons of missing homeless people all over the place. Okay, we have up to 1 million children kidnapped a year in the US. They're never found. Where are these children going to? See, they say the name Alligator Alcatraz is meant to be as a deterrent, and it emphasizes the idea that the surrounding environment is filled with alligators, and that would prevent detainees from escaping. And you know what? They're correct. They would truly not be able to escape and get away from their captors, to whom they will be fed. I do not see how a person who has no history of crime, or even if they have committed certain crimes, but generally people who've been living decent, productive lives, contributing to the American tax system, would need to be placed in such a facility. It does not make sense. And people, if it does not make sense, it is definitely not true. Their story is deception. Their story is, deceptive. Just like, we know their father is Satan, their father is the author of lies. Okay, furthermore, it's been documented. I'm just trying to show how what's going on. It's been documented and shown that many of the people who are kidnapped by ICE are not making it to their destination countries. Some are being dumped in the ocean. Why would the ICE be masked when they are apprehending the people they claim are illegal immigrants? Why? They have apprehended not only illegal immigrants, but legal immigrants, citizens, and disappeared them without a trace. I mean, hope we can see what is going on here. Immigrants are the excuse they are using to provide food to these creatures who are, some are already here, but others are coming too. And they need a constant food supply. There's a TikTok narrator who said that bodies are washing up on the shores of Spain, cuffed and shackled, and the Spanish authorities found at least 5 bodies washed to the shore with their hands and feet tied in late June. So I don't know how to say this. So these creatures are not only seeking to land, but they are already on the shores. And I did post something in the post section a while back about the marine kingdom coming onto Earth. They're already teeming around the shores. That's why we're getting all these animals being spooked out of the water. Okay? Also, Sudan launched an investigation because a plane load of their people never arrived and they're still unaccounted for. It's been about a month. Okay, this I think was posted in June, July. I haven't seen any news that talks about this anymore, that says that they have landed or they are accounted for. And I will have the links to these articles in the comment section. So I hope you can see what's going on. Hope the picture is emerging. So for the land to be ready for these entities, it has to be prepared. These entities are attracted to lands or areas that will accommodate them. These entities signed treaties with your so-called leaders who are probably of the Nephilim bloodline or just complete sellouts. And these treaties guaranteed them a place on our earth. They have been preparing for these entities to return by defiling the land. They prepare the land by defiling the land. So defiling the land is preparing the land for these people, because these demonic entities can only exist and thrive in a cesspool of evil. So with this agreement signed, or the signing of this agreement and then preparing the land, it's akin, it's mockery of John 14:3, when Christ says, "And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also." It's a mockery of that. They are preparing a place for these entities here on earth by defiling the land with idols, military bases that serve them. I need to do a whole breakdown on the military. They're here to fight against Christ in the end. Freemasonry, shrines and altars, brothels, shrines, and unholy temples. All these are defilements of the land. Alligator Alcatraz is such a land defilement. And this one is just even most specific. These structures are docking stations for these reptilian demons, vessels, and crafts. Okay, now I will talk about redeeming the land. So the land carries the anointing. Whenever the land is defiled, the people suffer, as the land is the one that's carrying the anointing. We are made from earth, therefore the attributes we have can be directly inferred to be of the earth. This is why they're always seeking to steal the land, displace the true heirs by making them refugees through wars, economic hardships, or killing them. If they cannot get you to sell your soil to them, that is your land, they will place you. The soul is I can't even talk. The soul is tied to the soil. What's happening though? In these end times, people are waking up and fighting. This, what I'm doing right now here, is a form of fighting. Okay, there's many ways you can fight. You reveal the information, you pray, you protest, you resist, you challenge them in court, everything. Just don't let them walk over us. So people are awake and they're aware and they're praying for restoration of their lands. And although prophecy must play out, it will be easier if we turn to God and pray. We should not take whatever they're planning to do to us lying down. We must resist. Okay? This information is not, what I'm talking about is not just for entertainment. It is information that we need to use to our benefit. We must rebuke and reject all contracts, all evil, and do all we can. And then once we've done all that we can do, we need to leave the rest to God. We must do something. Like, I cannot just reveal what has been shown to me and then sit back and do nothing. I right away rebuke, I reject, I intercede, I pray. And lately, God has led me to start praying for the lands and territories. This is something I'd never ever done before, Okay, so how do we know that it's working, that intercession is working? There's certain people whose anointing is one of intercession, and they pray for the land regardless. These are people who are just always praying, and this is their prayers rouse people to action. So now, for this Alligator Alcatraz, we have protesters and attorneys and maybe licensing agents who are fighting this. You know what I mean? And it is my belief that such intercession worked for Florida by the grace of God. That's why it's at present caught up in a legal battle. And technically, legally, its operation is not legitimate until the case is resolved. So let us keep it up. Let us not pray, like it says in James 5:16. Confess your faults one to another and pray one for another, that ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. Okay, so tying to that last screen is it's safe to assume and to conclude that the landing rights of for the 3iAtlas were denied due to whatever reason. I do not know. It was, and you can read this on the screen, it was redirected to Mars, the war planet. Okay, this was an act of God, but I guarantee you they will try to come again, because as the earth is being restored, they will have nowhere to run. They will have nowhere to go but earth. The sun is responsible for the comet's activity because it heats up the comet's nucleus to sublimate its ice into gas, which outgasses and lifts up dust from the comet's surface to form its coma. I don't know how you read this, but these entities need a certain temperature. Now, the sun heating it up is destroying. They're being destroyed and they're in a coma. That's how I read it. That is how I read this. I don't know how you read it. Let me know what you get from this in the comment section. So initially some scientists were suggesting that this comet was headed to Earth, and yes, I think it was. The scientists give us half lies, half truth. I mean, they talk out of both sides of their mouth. And so we need to take what they say with a grain of salt. I think this thing was headed for Earth, like I said, Florida, but God was intervened and he was like, no, giving us time. won't happen. He's got to get his children out of there first, at least warn us so that we can keep it moving. The sun is right now burning it. And I have this, I don't know, this vision that there's 3 huge reptiles in there, maybe a dinosaur-sized reptiles in that craft. I don't know. We'll soon find out. Okay. This comet was set to land at the Dade Collier runway. So that's the DC runway. Again, this ties into the DC, Washington DC. For it to be scheduled to land there, it's because the land is defiled. This land is sufficiently solid for them to feel comfortable in trying to land there. This land is slated to be destroyed. I believe that the dreams and visions I mentioned at the beginning of this video indicate that. The land was absolutely desolate in my dreams. We must pray for the lands, for the earth, like it says in 2 Peter 3:9, we must pray the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long-suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but all should come to repentance. To me, that's 3iAtlas is almost like a warning. The land itself is groaning, like it says in Romans 8:22, for we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. Okay, so we need to engage in our territorial warfare through prayer. See, these territories are ruled by powers and principalities, and we need to target them in our prayers. Let us do whatever we can. We all can do something. And doing these videos, when I said in March up to this time, I was led to read the books of Jonah and Judges. And what I gathered from reading them is that God is merciful and forgiving to those who seek him. I mean, in Judges, it was just like mercy after mercy after mercy after mercy. Okay, and also Lamentations 3:22-23, it says, it is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. Okay, while they are defiling the land, cursing the land, damning the land, condemning the land, we are reclaiming the land and redeeming the land. It is our inheritance, not theirs. We are reclaiming and redeeming the land in prayer and living according to God's holy word as laid out in scripture. These demonic entities are interlopers who should not be here in our space. Okay? Anyway, now to the crux of this video that I was prompted to do way back in March, April is Satan's eviction notice. This might seem like a joke, but it's not. It's powerful. We must give Satan, their father, his eviction notice. When he lives with his children. We must publish it in the public domain, as I have done here. YouTube is a public domain. We have so many resources available to us, but we just don't use them. So please copy and share and publish this on your accounts. These and such actions are powerful, and that is why they normally use them against us all the time. They publish to the media, all media, their intentions, and we fail to rebut or challenge their assertions. And by so failing to do, they stand and play out, and usually it's to our detriment. Okay, so we must publish our intentions against their actions and see what happens to them. They will be left only with a walk of shame, or at least God will rescue us. He will lead us away from those areas, those of us who are actively involved in fighting their actions. Technically, Satan is a squatter, And this is why he likes to debase people, because he himself is debased completely. Okay, this notice to quit is an eviction notice. It's effective immediately. It is sent to the principal Satan, also known as Lucifer, the dragon, the serpent, the devil, okay? And to all residents, occupants, and subtenants, and any others in possession of the premises, the fallen angels, Azazel, Samael, Sambiaza, and all that. The property obviously is earth, which is God's kingdom. Okay, please read this, read it and read it again, internalize it and share it. We must evict these entities. We must cry to God. What are we crying to God for? God, evict these entities from earth. Evict them from our life. We must cry to God. Okay. Well, there is so much more information, but for the sake of time, I will end here. I believe I have made my point. Thank you so much for watching. Questions, comments, suggestions are always welcome. Please share this with others, and if you're not subscribed, please do so, especially if you have stayed till now to the end. July 1st, if you think it's a coincidence, or worse, if you believe that the narrative they're hissing out in the public domain is just a narrative, then I don't know what to tell you. July 1st was a red heifer sacrifice. July 1st, Alligator Alcatraz opened. July 1st, 3iAtlas was identified. Truth is as clear as day. The 3iAtlas cannot be a good vessel if all these three things happened on the same day. Okay, remember your math. If, all, and but, it cannot be. Okay, remember, all is truth. There can only be truth. Everything else, all else, is a distraction. Do not be distracted. Thank you very much, and see you in the next.